Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the Yokkao Essential Boxing Gloves. So stay tuned. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review on the Yokkao Essential Boxing Gloves. They come in this black, white, and gray colorway. I got mine in 16 ounces. It is a Velcro closure only model, does not come in lace up. The exterior is made of a synthetic microfiber PU with a foamy tricot liner on the inside of the hand compartment. That's very smooth, so it's easy for your hands to slip in and slip out of the gloves. And layered foam padding over the knuckles that's very firm when you first get it, but breaks in nicely the more you use it. So firm in density. And lastly, the gloves are designed in Thailand but are manufactured in China. Now, it's been a couple of years since I've done a review on a pair of Yokkao gloves. And there was a couple of reasons why I wanted to use these and do a review on them. One is because it's been a couple of years since I've done a review on a pair of Yokkao gloves, and two, these are the entry-level gloves that Yokkao offers now. So these are the most affordable gloves they offer on their website compared to all their other models. So essentially they're budget-friendly entry-level models. So that's what really got me curious about these gloves. Now, from a design standpoint, when it comes to the size of the gloves for 16-ounce gloves, I'd say they're medium in size. They are very similar to some other Thai gloves in the fact that they have a little bit more of a stockier build to them. They're a little bit more shorter in height and have a little bit more of a wider pocket when it comes to the hand compartment. So this does definitely has some design cues when it comes to a traditional Thai glove, but it has a conventional type of wrist support system where most Thai gloves have a rounded cuff, where traditional contemporary boxing gloves typically have the wrist support separated from the back to the front. So typically you'll have padding on the front, and then you'll have it stitched on the sides, and then you'll have the padding on the back on a conventional boxing gloves. Where Muay Thai gloves are rounded, they have a rounded cuff, and then the strap kind of goes around that. So that's where this really differs. So I guess you can kind of say that this is kind of a hybrid glove between a traditional boxing glove and a Thai style glove, but definitely has more of a stockier build. You also notice it does have that Yokkao logo on the back, and it has kind of like this, I don't know, like a herringbone kind of diagonal pattern on the back of the glove. I'm sure they went through and picked out a couple of designs and kind of went with this one. So it has kind of like a tech type look to it. So you have these diagonal lines that kind of come across the back of the glove, and then you can see it kind of comes up towards the thumb with the two stars. So you have that there. The synthetic on here is very similar to like what Rival uses. So if you have a pair of like Rival, any other gloves that use their synthetic PU, this is pretty much the same type of material. And what's funny about these gloves is when I was using them, they really remind me, and I'm not saying they're the same glove, I'm just saying that they remind me of the Rival RS1 sparring gloves in terms of like the thumb position and the finger compartment. The rest of the gloves obviously very different, but it kind of reminds me of that. And the fact that they use the same type of synthetic PU on the exterior as Rival, it really reminds me of that. So you have that. You also have a 4-inch Velcro strap, says Yokkao, with the tiger down here at the bottom with the two stars. So you have that Velcro strap that wraps all the way around. On the inner portion of the Velcro strap, it shows the weight, 16 ounces, premium microfiber leather Yokkao, designed in Thailand. So you have that Velcro strap that comes around. You can see how it's attached. And then you have the inner liner, again, tricot style liner, and you also have a stitched in tag right here that shows Yokkao. On the opposite side shows that it's made in China. The back of the wrist support, you're looking at about an inch of firm density foam padding and firm density foam padding on the inside of the wrist, which is probably about a 1/2 inch on both sides. You can see that it splints up and comes up to right about here, right below the base piping of the thumb, and it stops right there. And then on this side, you can see it comes up and tapers off to the outer edge right before the grip bar. You do have ventilated holes above and below the grip bar, as well as on the inner portion of the thumb with a full length grip bar. I do feel that the grip bar has a decent size, but it's a little too soft. It would have been nice if the grip bar was more firm, like a rubber tube. And you also have a full length attached thumb to help the thumb stay in place and not peek out while you're using the gloves. And again, the microfiber on here has more of a satin finish. Quality-wise, the gloves are very nice. I'll give them that. I put them also on the scale. I think the left glove was at 16.1 and the right glove was at 16.4 ounces, so slightly heavier than the left. But you know, for a training glove, a synthetic training glove, I think they did a pretty good job of keeping the weight pretty close to what they're advertised as. So overall, the quality of the microfiber, again, this is a very similar type of material that you see from Rival that they use in their gloves. And I still have my RS1 red sparring gloves from Rival, and those things have been holding up really well. I actually use those for a lot of like cross training. So I'll do like bag intervals and I'll do push-ups and other like calisthenics with those just to stay in shape. That's kind of the workout I do outside of my conventional boxing training. And this type of microfiber they use on here generally holds up very well. So it's held up very nicely. The stitching on here all looks really good. The glove is very well balanced. It's not top heavy, so the distribution of weight throughout the glove, particularly in the midsection of the glove right here, is done very well. No open tears or open seams on the inside of the hand compartment, so no exposed foam. A liner is really good. Everything looks really clean. You can see the attached thumb. There's no stitching that's unraveling or popping out. And again, you can just see it for yourself. Everything is done very clean. Here's the right glove. Outside edges. All looks really good. Palm side stitching. Trying to capture it all. All that looks good as well. Yeah. Attached thumb. Logo. Looks really good. Velcro strap is done very well. And again, glove is very well balanced. It's not top heavy. It doesn't have a lot of fold or slack to it, so it doesn't feel like a super soft glove to where you can just fold it in half and crush it, you know? It definitely feels like it has a good amount of structure to the glove. You can see there. So my big takeaway in terms of the quality, I'd probably say is going to be just the weight being a little bit above what the advertised weight is. But outside of that, everything else about the glove is done very well. Then in terms of symmetry, you know, putting the gloves next to each other, height is right there, the same width as each other. You can see the thumb position is pretty much the same on both gloves. The depth and curve of the finger compartment is the same as well. And then on the palm side, you can see they're both symmetrical. The logos are in the correct spot. You know, the logo is not crooked. They're nice and centered. You know, not one logo is too far to the left or too far to the right or too high up or too low, excuse me. So everything is done well in terms of symmetry. Comfort, I was a little skeptical. When it comes to Thai gloves, I'm always skeptical when it comes to comfort because I've had both. I've had both Thai gloves that are super stiff and tight and just feel awkward when you put them on, and then you have ones that are very comfortable. So I really didn't know what to expect with these. It's been a couple of years since I've used a pair of Yokkao gloves. But first things first, the liner feels really good. So there's no excess liner anywhere in the glove. I don't feel like there's anything around my fingers, my knuckles, around the base or the top portion of my thumb. So I feel it feels really good. Surprisingly, the thumb, when you look at it, it looks like it's gonna be uncomfortable, like it kind of flares out at a weird angle. So from the outside looking in, when you see it, even in photos, you're like, I don't know, that thumb might be uncomfortable or it might just be at a weird position. But surprisingly, the thumb is actually very comfortable. So, and they give you enough room at the base of the thumb to where you don't get the circulation cut off to your thumb. But even when I pull down and make a fist, the thumb right there does a good job of not collapsing down. And it's deep enough to where my finger doesn't jam, and you have about 1 inch of padding on the back of your thumb for support and protection. But the thumb is very comfortable, so no issues with it feeling awkward. The finger compartment is nice and deep, good amount of width. It's not too wide and not too narrow, although I do feel that this portion of the glove right here, because it's a little bit more of a wider fitting glove, is there's a little bit of extra room on this outside. But once you have your hand wraps on, it's not a big deal, but I would say that the width on the inside of the glove is a little bit more on the roomier side because the glove is a little bit wider. The grip bar on here is a decent size, but I feel like the material they use in here, the padding for the grip bar, is too soft. So when I make a fist, I can't really feel it. I mean, I know it's there because I could tell, but just with the feel. But when I say I can't feel it, meaning that it doesn't become, it's not there for any type of use, right? Like when you have a grip bar, to me, if you're gonna put a grip bar in there, put a grip bar that you can actually use, right? That your hand can wrap around. Otherwise, what's the point, right? It's kind of like an afterthought. They just put it in there just because it needs to have it. But if you're gonna do that, make it useful. So I feel like the grip bar could definitely be improved right there. But no issues in terms of hand discomfort. They feel very good overall. The padding on here, surprisingly, even though they're stiff right off the bat, you can actually open and close your hands pretty well. I'd say they're probably like 70% broken in. And the more you use the glove, obviously this padding will start to soften up. But the good thing is that for a budget entry-level glove, they didn't use injected molded foam. So they used a layered foam padding that just happens to be a little bit more stiff. But again, this will definitely break in over time the more you use it. So definitely like the way the padding feels. Everything in here feels very comfortable with the glove. Let me go ahead and throw the right one on as well and get a good feel for it. And yeah, same thing with the right glove. Very comfortable. Then feels really good. Hand compartment feels good, nice and deep. Not too wide, not too narrow, and definitely feels good. Protection and performance-wise, I'd say that this glove, if I were to put a bar out and say, 10 is the highest level protection, 1 is like a puncher's glove with horsehair, and you can feel your knuckles go right through, I'd say that these are like a 7. I feel like these do a really good job of absorbing shock, and the padding on here is definitely kind of stiff at first. So when you're using this, again, I kind of use that analogy with the rival gloves. The padding definitely breaks in after a while of training, but at first it's definitely stiff. So definitely better shock absorption with this glove. It's definitely not a puncher style glove where you can feel your knuckles pierce through. But the more you use these particular gloves, I feel like they've softened it really nicely, and I get a good amount of pop and feedback and a pretty good flat punch surface to where my 2 front knuckles right here feel like they're landing, and I'm not overcompensating by over-rotating my hand to throw my punches over. Nor is the punch surface too round to where, like a molded foam glove, you feel like your punches are kind of glancing off the bag. So it definitely compresses down nicely and gives you a good level of shock absorption. So I definitely say these are more on the protective end, but the more you use them and you kind of break them in, they soften up a good amount and gives you a level of feedback that you're looking for without sacrificing protection. Cost-wise, these gloves are $79, which I think is a really good price. It's actually a great price, all things considered. I think it's one of their only sub $100 gloves out Yokkao offers. I think they have some other gloves like in the $90 range, but the reason that they're like 90 bucks is because they've discounted them or they're on sale. But I think this is the only glove at their MSRP, at their suggested price, that are sub $100 at 79 bucks, which I think is a really good deal for this type of glove. I like the microfiber on here, at least this type of synthetic. I've seen in other brands in the past and other gloves, and it's always held up really well. They're very comfortable. They did a really good job with the padding. Wrist support is really good with this glove as well. A little bit of a wider hand pocket. I'd say the only drawbacks with this glove is it only comes in one color currently. It's just black, white, and gray, which would be nice for them to offer more colors, and they don't have a lace-up version of this, so it's only in Velcro. They do have multiple sizes, which is a good thing. So if they added like a lace-up version with more colors and kept it at the same price point, then man, they definitely would be onto something. But overall, very satisfied with these, especially at the $79, so sub $100 price point. So if you guys have any questions or comments, you guys know what to do. Put them down below. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Yokkao Essential Boxing Gloves. See you guys later. Peace.